Okay, we're going to review Chapter 5. We have a test coming up. I want you to be ready for it. Remember, I do not do all your reviewing. You need to do some reviewing for yourselves. A couple things that we did in this. We did long division. And we did synthetic division. Okay, when can you use each? Well, long division is if you're trying to divide by a divisor that is not a linear term. So if we have x cubed minus 5x squared, excuse me, plus 7 divided by x squared plus 2, we have to do long division. Synthetic division, you would use anytime your divisor is linear, okay? Or if they give you a 0 and they say the 0 is 4 or 1 0 is 4, find the other zeros. Then you can do synthetic division to get it down to a quadratic, and then you can either factor, which is most of the time, or you can use a quadratic formula. There we go. I just searched for that. Sorry about that. So let's look at long division first, because there will be one of those on your test. Okay? Here's our problem. Squared plus 7. Why do we have to put a 0 here? Okay, remember whether you're doing synthetic division or long division, you want to go from your biggest degree. So in our case, it's x cubed, then x squared, then x, then constant. And when one is skipped, you put a 0 in there as a placeholder. Long division is easier in that when you divide, you only have to consider x squared going into the first term, x cubed. So if we take x squared times x, we get x cubed. And then the next one is plus 2x when you take your partial quotient times your divisor. And I write it under the appropriate term. And now remember, when you do long division, you subtract that. So a lot of times I'll go back and add the opposite. I'll subtract so I remember. So now when I subtract and bring down my other terms, my first one had better be gone. That's why you did that. That does not always happen with long division with numbers. Okay, now I'm going to divide negative 5x squared by x squared, and that's just minus 5. You take that partial quotient times your divisor, so that's negative 5x squared and a negative 10. And again, you subtract that. So this will become plus, that's supposed to be red, plus and plus. So we got negative 2x plus 17. And if I didn't make a mistake, there is our, there you go. There is our answer for division. Okay, so there's a review of long division. We looked at possible rational roots. And I will do a synthetic division before I'm done. Remember the possible rational roots? Don't forget the plus or minus. And you have factors of the constant divided by factors of your lead coefficient. So if I'm wondering what are the possible rational factors, possible rational root of something like 4x to the 4th minus 5x squared plus 3x minus 15, I would have plus or minus. Factors of 15 would be 1, 3, 5, and 15. Factors of the 4 is 1, 2, and 4. And I'm done. That's all I'm looking for possible rational roots. What we often do from there is we graph it and look at which ones are likely. Okay, so you need to know how to graph these on a calculator. Okay, so if we graph and it looks like -3 is a possible rational root, then we'll put -3 in and we will do the synthetic division with that. How do you know if it is? This has to end up at 0. I would guess this one does not because I just made it up and I'm sure that -3 is not a rational root. Okay. The other thing we looked at was Descartes' rule of signs. Okay. Descartes' rule of signs. Okay. What that does is give you the idea of what to look for when you graph these. Descartes' rule of signs isn't too hard. You're going to look at the number of possible positive roots and negative roots, and then we'd have complex. Okay, since this was a cubic, I got to recopy it. Okay, 4x to the 4th. Hey, I forgot the 0. You guys didn't catch that. Okay, 4x to the 4th minus 5x squared plus 3x minus 15. Okay, let's see if I can remember. There we go. Okay, so now I'm looking at this starts as positive and it changes to negative, so that's 1. Then it's positive again, so that's 2, and then negative again, so that's 3. So there's 3 possible positive real roots. Okay. Now the next thing we do is we replace x replaced with negative x, and we simplify. Okay, and after you've done these a few times, you'll realize when you raise it to an even power, it does not change. But when you raise it to an odd power, it is going to change. So now instead of plus 3x, it's minus 3x. Okay, so this started as positive, and it went to negative, so that's 1 change. Negative, negative, they stayed negative, it didn't change again, so we have 1 possible negative. Okay. This was a 4th degree polynomial, so the sum of the roots should be 4, so that means this is 0. Now these change by pairs from the same column. Okay, so we can take 2 out of the 3 and put it into the complex, because what happens is all of a sudden your graph doesn't hit that. So we can have 2 complex roots, 1 positive and 1 negative. And then there's not a possibility for 0, 0, 4 because this is 1 and this is 1, so we cannot take them out. That's all there is for possibilities. Okay. If this had started, I'm not going to write a whole thing. And I don't care if you call that imaginary. I think the book does. So if this was 2, 3, and 0, it was a degree 5 polynomial. I could take 2 from the positive and put them in the complex. Or I could have started by taking 2 from the negative and putting them in the complex. But because this 2 is still, we could subtract 2 from it without getting to a negative, I could take 2 from each of them. Okay, so that's a possibility. So this is a degree 5. You know, if we're thinking of this, okay, so it's possible that we had 2 positive and 3 negative, but remember that the original graph, this could have been up and down. It could have been so that the original graph looked like that, so that it missed it on the right, or it could have been a different curves on it. So that's why you're getting the different possibilities. Okay. When you have this, you need to know how to use your calculator to find your maximum and minimums. Okay, so you're going to have to know how to go to calc on the top row, and then find your max, and then you're going to ask for the left edge and the right edge, and then your guess. So practice a few of those. And same for a minimum. You could do the same for a minimum. All right. If you're given the zeros, remember complex zeros always occur in conjugate pairs. Okay? They always occur in conjugate pairs. So if 5 minus 2i is a root, 5 plus 2i is a root, or a 0, or whatever you want to call it. Those are what x equals. So if I tell you we've got a polynomial with the lead coefficient -2, 1, 0 is 3, another 0 is the 5 minus 2i, you need to know that the conjugate is the third one, is a third one. There's many possibilities, but the easiest function would be, okay, let's use that lead coefficient -2. If this is what x equals, then x minus 3 was the factor, so I'm going to go x minus 3. And the same thing happens with these two. So this would be x minus 5 plus 2i, and the second one would be x minus 5 minus 2i. And you can leave it like that. I'd like to see these two multiplied together, but in this chapter, that's not what I'm emphasizing, so I'm not going to take too much time to look at that. Okay. Another nice thing to be able to do on the same note, if you're given the zeros and another point, you should be able to sketch it and find the polynomial equation. So if I have zeros at -3, -1, and 4, and I have another point, let's have the y-intercept being -6. I don't know how well this will work out. But first of all, I'm going to give myself a sketch so I know what to expect. Okay, I got a 0 at 4, I got a 0 at -1 and -3, and I got my y-intercept down here at -6. Well, I think it's going to look something like this. Now, this might be right at 0, -6. I don't know. So when I'm asked to write that equation, I'm going to have y equals a, because I don't know what number that is. That'd be x plus 3, x plus 1, and x minus 4. Okay, so now I have this point, 0, -6. So I'm going to put the 0 in for x and the -6 in for y, so I can figure out my value of my lead coefficient. Okay, so I'm going to have -6 equals a times -12. I think I get -12. Did you? So a is going to be +1/2. So this equation is what I need, except my a will come out, and that lead coefficient 1/2 will go in. Now remember, you can always check by graphing this on your calculator. Hey, that's about half of it. I'm going to stop because I'm about out of time too, and we'll do a second video.